moving backwards. For you young volleyball fanatics out there, if you're playing defense and that ball gets hit, you have to be dug in. Moving backwards while the ball's moving is not technically sound.
Always the fear of getting it in the face, obviously, is the reason people back up.
There is a little bit of fear involved, I guess, but how I look at it is, how hard can it hurt? A volleyball off the head, how hard can it be? It can't be that bad. Just stick it in there and take it for the team. Take one for the team. Bring it up. The only thing that matters is that ball comes up.
I remember getting one off the face in grade 9 day in high school. And I remember that one hurt.
That hurt.
By one of the seniors, yeah.
Well, it can hurt. I've seen people knocked out cold by the ball, but you do wake up. There might be a bit of blood, but never touch your face. The key is don't let them see you bleed.
Mark Dodds. That was a two-part play there. Lewis with the emotion.
Canada's playing some very nice volleyball right now. Let's see if they can continue it.
The captain, Murray Grappentine, will start off with a float serve that stays on the Canadian side of the net. That's error number 3 here in game number 2.
Not what you want to see after a timeout as a head coach. You've got the momentum going. You've put Brazil in some trouble. You want to have that serve go in no matter what. Tough break there for Murray.
Gustavo. And he's deep. So, again, Brazil, which has happened, I think, every time in this game when the Canadians make a service error, Brazil responds with the same.
Yeah, we've seen it a number of times, and Gustavo didn't force that. Once again, that's a poor error because you're hitting it out of bounds without going after it. Either go for it or put it in.
Koski with the floater. And it's blocked down, and Brinkman is psyched. And I'm not sure if it's Brinkman or Lewis who got a piece of it.
I think it was Lewis that got it with his right hand. That's a good tempo on that. Dan got stuck in there. He pushed hard cross court right off his right arm. And now we hear Bernardino in the timeout over there. He's not a happy man. He is going to rip into his charges like he's been known to do.
The job in the back room, right? I don't think because if you serve 18, Albert sits in front. So
it's on his inside. It's easier for the pipe.
Yeah.
But keep it on the outside. He's got to play it outside the pipe.
One in his back. Ready? 1, 2,
So it sounds like they're serving to try to avoid the pipe.
Yes, they're trying to create a situation right now where they can't set the pipe. The pipe's been killing them. I don't think we've got a hand on it, let alone brought one up. So serving is a key tactical situation where you can sort of dictate where the ball goes offensively, if it's done very well.
Scott Koski. And that time, Nalbert pounds it down.
Cross court, that's a really quick set to the outside. One floating block, that ball's going to go down every single time, especially with a guy who can swing like that.
Off the block. And blocked down by Canada, but out of play. So Brazil is within 1.
It's a good technical play by Brazil here. The ball gets dug up, high set to the outside, 2-man block, and just using the block to score the point. Ball out of bounds, off the block. There's nothing anybody can do about it. Brazil's known for taking big swings at big times, and that's a perfect example. That's right off of Dan's left arm right there. He was in fairly decent position, but it got his forearm instead of his palm of his hand. Good blockers touch the ball with the palms of their hands, not their forearms.
Brazil swept Canada yesterday and won the first game today. The Canadians, though, with a narrow lead. Canada has not beaten Brazil in international competition since 2000 back in the World League, and they did that in Canada, in Hull, Quebec. Remember, next weekend, Canada will be at home against Brazil in Mississauga, Ontario at the Hershey Center. Here's Ricardo with the serve. Far to the outside, and Dodds pounds it down. The Canadians up by 2.
Nice tempo on that ball outside to Dodds, and he does a great job swinging high. Great contact point with that heavy hand that he has. He's got a heavy swing. This kid has been having a great match for Canada here tonight.
It was Heller who was a little late, it looked like, on that block. The Brazilians with a tip, pancaked up by Canada. Back row, handled by Brazil. And down as they use the block again to go out of play.
With a quick set to the back, Albert tips it here. We get a pancake. That ball comes up. Don't think it was pancaked actually. But back to Nalbert there, floating block, left arm out. That's a smart technical hit by Nalbert. The block was moving. He just drops his head and cuts it down the line. Block out. Point.
Albert Bittencourt, the oldest player on the Brazilian team. He's 33 years old. He's been around the wars of the international volleyball scene. Koski with the set. Winters, that's handled by the libero, Allen. Brazil with a bit of an easy one for Canada. Koski now to Winters. And we've got a violation on the Brazilian side. The Canadians are up by 2.
I think this is the biggest lead at this time in the game that we've had so far for the Canadian team. That's a net error by Brazil to finish this rally, which they rarely do. If you watch them play on a regular basis, unforced errors are they do very, very little.
2018, Canada leads. Steve Brinkman.
Jump floaty.
And it's a mistake on the Brazilian side. It's a 3-point spread for Canada.
Wow. Wow, this is something I've rarely seen from the Brazilian team. We have to remember once again that they are out of practice. Their starters are getting back on the court for the first match in the World League. But that mistake at this crucial time of the set is very rare. But it's great for Canada. Canada does not care how it comes. They're going to take it. They're going to run with the momentum.
I don't think I'll come back to the 33 again.
If you're a newcomer to watching international volleyball, the games go to 25. So Canada needs 4, and there's a point scored every time the ball touches the floor.
It sounds like the Brazilian coach is trying to settle his team down. They need to get the ball back. They've been having a little bit of difficulty offensively in this set right here. They look a little bit out of rhythm. We'll see if they can get back into it by getting the ball back immediately.
Ideally, where does Steve Brinkman want to put this ball?
Steve Brinkman has been trying to serve short, I believe, and he'll be trying to create difficulty for the receivers right there, short on the right-hand side of the court, and it pays dividends right there. Not a perfect pass, not a great set. Heller gets jammed, and Murray Grappentine says no way on that one. Nice little hand touch there.
The one person you don't want to handle the ball on the first touch is the guy wearing the opposite color jersey, right? The libero.
You want to stay away from the libero. Should be the best passing defensive player on the other side.
Canadians keep it alive, but it's on the wrong side of the aerial.
It looked like Brink had a chance there to bring that ball up. He just got a poor touch on that. That ball should have been brought back into the court. It was a relatively simple ball. He just got a difficult touch on that. Yeah, he should have had that. No doubt about that.
Late read on it and couldn't keep it alive. So it's a 3-point spread. Canada leading. Koski with the set. And that is hammered down by Dodds.
That's a great set by Koski right there. Held the blockers. Quick set to the back, and Dodds just pounds it down the line.
Wow.
Quick arm swing.
Koski comes out. Monday comes in. Interesting maneuver.
Well, it's to raise the block here. It's Manville that came in for Canada to try to get a block point. Koski is a shorter player, not as dominant at the net as a player like Manville's going to be. He's about 6'7". He's got good hands, a good jump. He penetrates the net well. The sub is for a blocking point. Let's see if it pays off right here. So if Canada can stop Brazil. Ball out of bounds. Maybe it worked. Intimidated at the net.
It's a game point now for Canada. Louis-Pierre Menville, the youngest player on Team Canada, is at the net wearing number 1 rather. He's 21 years old. It's on the floor on the Canadian side, but it'll still be set point Canada.
That's just a very, very nice tip by Nalbert from the back row. Canada's got the chance now, though, to close out this set. Let's see where Scott Koski goes with this set to close it out. Bruno coming in. This is the second setter for Brazil, coming in as a serving specialist in this situation. No, it's a double sub, actually, is what Brazil is pulling, with Samuel coming in as well. Samuel's the #1 spiker in the league so far, hitting about 60% for the Brazilian team. A physical specimen.
And it's Monday with the set. And it's off the block, but it's kept alive by Brazil. Samuel pounds one. Kept alive. Lewis. Monday. Blocked down. A roof block by Brazil. And they're hanging around. Or is the call against Brazil? Yes, it's hung on the net here. Was it Gustavo?
Gustavo was all over the twine, so was Dante to finish that off. That's Canada's point. That should be the Canadian set right there. Let's see what the official call is. Canada wins that set. We are tied at 1.
Wow, what an improvement for Canada on yesterday and on the first set today. They win set number 2, upsetting Brazil here in Belo Horizonte. We'll be back. Lots more Volleyball World League on Country Canada.
This is a stick up, get your hands up in the air and wave them around like you just don't care. Everybody get your hands up in the air. Get your hands up in the air.
Welcome back to CBC Country Canada's coverage of the 2007. Welcome back to CBC Country Canada's coverage of the 2007 World League Volleyball. I'm Rob Snook, along with John Barrett, former national team player, the innovator of the spike serve. We're seeing lots of that today, and Canada shocking the Brazilian fans and the Brazilian players with a 25-20 win in game number 2. So it's a 1-1 tie as we head to set number 3.
It was a well-executed set by the Canadians. They're starting to look comfortable in their game. They had some good performances by individual players. Fred Winters came through and hit some very nice balls down the line. Mark Dodds has been quite a surprise here for Canada today, hitting down some crucial balls at key times. Scott Koski's come in and done some very nice things by setting some quick, precise balls at key times.
And some ad-libbing, too, by players like Dan Lewis, who filled in when need be in the setting position.
Absolutely. Dan Lewis is a crucial part of this team. We need Dan to be firing on all pistons at all times. Dan's the emotional leader. He's a guy that can really bring some energy to the game. When we have Dan going and our team's flowing, Canada's in a very good position.
We start game number 3 with Ricardo Garcia, the captain of the Brazilian team, will be serving. His first match of the World League. Koski with the set. And right off the bat, Mark Dodds starts things off the way Canada finished off set number 2.
That's a great set by Koski to the outside. There's 1.5 blocks. Dodds just cranks it down the seam right through the middle. You're not going to dig that up with that heat.
Nice serve by Lewis. This is handled by Canada, and it's blocked down by Brinkman, it looked like. Maybe Dodds got a piece of it as well.
I think you're right. I think Brinkman did put that down, but that whole play was created by the Canadian serve. Actually, Dodds and Brinkman both touched the ball. Tough serve, 3-man block on the outside, point.
And that is long.
Forced a little bit by Dan Lewis right there. Didn't get the perfect toss. Down the line, it's a tough serve. It's your shortest distance as a server, serving from the right-hand corner.
Albert for Brazil. They're trying to equalize, and they do so.
That's a big serve by Albert. More than the force behind that ball, he got it to the outside of the receiver on the right-hand side of the court. Dan Lewis had to dive even to touch it. A great placement by Albert.
2-2 tie early on. Albert Bittencourt, the 33-year-old oldest player on the Brazilian team. And it is hammered down by Mark Dodds again.
Wow, Koski's starting to get a feel for Dodd's rhythm out there, and that's a great hit. He's shown a lot of different shots here so far. He's hit cross, he's hit line, he's had some finesse stuff. If you're Koski, you want to feed Dodds at this point. You want to keep giving him the ball.
The former Bison from the University of Manitoba, Brinkman, floats it over, and the Canadians in trouble here. This will be a free ball. Allen with the pass. Ricardo, and that is off the touch and out, I think. Or maybe not.
That's a great defensive play by Brinkman there. It's a good sign when you've got your 6'8" players sprawling and digging balls in the back of the court.
Oh, the
Rob,
fans might have had a
Rob,
good argument there.
You are correct. Freddie Winters got a touch on that ball. In fact, you could hear it. You just couldn't. I guess the refs couldn't see it.
Brinkman floats one over. And that is powered down by Dante.
That's a fast set to the outside. Dante cuts it back over his shoulder. That's a great, great hit down the line by Dante there.
But you get the sense Canadians are believing in themselves now after winning set number 2 and leading here in set number 3. And Winters off the block, and Canada's up by 2.
It's a nice swing by Freddie on the outside. One-man block, cuts it back down. Some good rhythm on the attack is what we're starting to see here from Canada, which goes hand in hand with good serve receiving. You serve receive well, you give yourself a chance to get into rhythm. Canada's settling in to play a good match here.
And the serve by Mark Dodds is out.
Not by much, but he did miss that baseline by about 1.5 feet, I think.
It's Andre for Brazil, the lefty. Dug up by Canada. Back set by Koski. Off the block and out by Winters.
Great hit by Freddie Winters here. Youth full length of the court. I believe he gets the touch off the block, but that ball's also in. He hits it to the deep part of the court. No defender. Ball down. He did get a touch, but it was in. Great technical execution by Freddie Winters.
Wow, that is pounded down by Dante.
Dante's got a really fast swing. When he gets the set he wants, he's going to do what he wants with that ball. He's been killing him from the pipe, but on the outside now he's starting to churn away and put that ball down. See if he brings his big, big jumpy here.
Canada still leading early on. There's some power from Dante. The set by Koski. And in by Lewis.
Dan Lewis is getting pumped up here. Every ball he puts down, he's enjoying the moment. That's a great rhythm. Great set by Koski. Lewis getting into rhythm right there. Nice, nice extension on that hit by Dan Lewis.
Grappentine with the serve. Quick by Brazil, but Canada responds. Koski. And Canada takes something off. Lewis again.
That's a very smart play by Dan. You can see how comfortable Canada's getting by the execution of their attacks. They're starting to use some finesse stuff that earlier wasn't using. They feel comfortable. They're relaxing in the play. Dan saw that the block was closed. Not a perfect set to put it down. Tip right down the line. Which scores. Now Albert made an attempt. Should have had that actually defensively. But great vision by Dan Lewis on that attack.
Dan Lewis plays his pro ball in Poland. Many Canadian players fixed at teams around the world. Steve Brinkman is in Thessalonica in Greece. And Paul Durden, who's back home
Nice
in Canada.
execution on that word there, Rob.
He plays in France. And the Canadians, and that's what makes it tough for all of these international teams to come together.
It does indeed. The end of your season becomes very difficult. Players are coming back from their respective clubs abroad. And they have to get right together and play right away. Travel in the World League, no rest, just right at it. Canada's starting to reap some benefits from being together for a period of time now. This is the best ball I've seen so far in the World League by Canada.
And I said that Paul Durden was in France, but he was in Turkey this past year, wasn't he?
He was indeed in Turkey, yes.
Team Canada serving. The captain, Murray Grappentine. Back row attack from Brazil. This will be a free ball sent over by Canada. Ricardo the set and pounded down in the middle by Gustavo.
That's a great hit by Gustavo, who has not been used very much in this match offensively so far. In fact, the middle attacks for Brazil have not been going down on a regular basis, but that's going to come back. Gustavo's a big guy, 6'8", plays for the best Italian team in Italy. They won the championship this year. He's one of the best middle blockers in the game.
Overbumped by Canada, and Brazil makes them pay.
Once again, that point was developed through the serve. A big, heavy serve by a 6'8", 230-pound middle blocker with a lot of topspin. Created off the serve. Ricardo puts it away off of Brinkman.
Canada still clinging to a lead. Here comes Brazil again, and this one is in, and it's Nalbert.
Gustavo is starting to force his serve a little bit more, and that's often what they expect of him. He delivers at key times for the Brazilian team. He's sort of a quiet player. You don't see much from him as far as Brazilian emotion goes on the court, but he creates points for them.
Here he comes again, but this time he forces it into the net, so Canada stays out front.
That worked there. That was the volleyball jinx, I believe. Rob, talk well about him. Ball into the twine.
Scott Koski now with the serve. Canada with a narrow lead here in set number 3. And the pipe works. Dante pounds it down for Brazil, and it's tied up again.
The rhythm of that set is so important. See the middle blocker go up the middle hitter, and Dante's catching the blockers out of their timing. They're not set up. He's hitting that ball quick and hard. Nice execution by the Brazilian offense.
Ricardo with the serve. The Canadians can't make it land on the Brazilian side yet. Brazil with another chance. Over bump. And finally, it's pushed down, and that time it was Andre who finished it off.
Exciting rally there on both sides. Ricardo gets a one-handed pick. A lot of covering and defense that went on in this rally. Great dig by Freddie Winters as he sprawls through that ball. I think Mark Dodds finished that off. He was on the net, but it was going down anyways.
Ricardo again. Brazil finally leading. Dug up by Canada. And Dodds uses the block.
Heavy hit by Mark Dodds on the outside. Watch him release that shoulder. He's feeling comfortable, and you can tell why. He's just letting his arm go. He knows the Brazilian block isn't set. He hits hard into that seam. That's a nice hit.
Dan Lewis with the serve. Ricardo with the set on the Brazilian side. And they pound it down again.
It's the Dante show from the pipe once again. Canada has no answer for this up to this point. They got to start talking about the players in the front row have to communicate, look for it. They run it in a series as well. They said 3 or 4 in a row usually.
Nalbert with the hard serve. Canada responds. And do they ever? It is pounded down again by Mark Dodds.
He's in a great rhythm attacking right now. Koski's doing the right thing. He's keeping him in his flow. He is his point machine right now, and Koski is keeping him hot. Feed the animals. Give them that ball back.
11-11. Set number 3. Brazil this time, and Koski tries but can't get it up.
Well, Koski shook his head right after this play because that's a diggable ball. That's not hit that hard. And Scott knew it right after this play. You look at that. He knew that should have come up. That ball wasn't hit that hard. That's got to be an up for the Canadian defensive side.
Heller with the float serve. Back set, and it is in the play. And again, it's Dodds.
Talk about taking swings. The Brazilians are known for crushing the ball, but Dodds is so efficient here today. Great release on the outside of that right arm of Dante.
A little touch by Brazil, kept alive by Canada. Winters, and he makes the Brazilians pay for some lackluster or disorganized defense.
Nice hit by Freddie Winters, but you are correct there, Rob. That ball was hit right at the libero. And if anyone's going to dig that, it should be your best defensive player. If I'm coaching Brazil, I'm calling my libero out on that. I'm saying, what are you doing? Ball's hit right at you. That's got to come up. You're letting us down. Dig the ball. That's your job.
Libero, of course, if you're new to international ball, is the player who wears the opposite color jersey. He plays just defensively. Ricardo with a quick set. Canada tries to keep it alive, but we are tied at 13.
That was a very quick set to the outside. Look at no approach whatsoever. Ricardo just sets practically a shoot set right to the outside to Dante with no approach. Watch this. One step back. There must have been some communication on it. These two players have played together for so long. Ricardo just gave him a glance. I don't think you can hear him with all the noise in the court, but just fires that shoot set outside, point back.
Andre, and he can't get that one over to the net, so it's a lead for Canada.
Bernardino isn't happy with that. Andre has not been in rhythm on his serve. He's missed a number today.
Freddie Winters, former Pepperdine University star, and he also has trouble with that 8-foot net.
Big toss that time. Freddie went for the ace. He tossed it really high. The higher you toss that ball, the more difficult it is to exercise control over the ball. He threw it really high, went for a rip, didn't work out.
Koski with the set, the back row by Winters, and the Canadians go back out front again.
So Canada's coming back to the pipe there. It looks like Freddie almost got caught behind Wolfett in there, but it worked out. He still got to the ball. Touched the top of the net, but a point nonetheless.
Grappentine. Nalbert is blocked down, and was it Koski who got a piece of that?
Koski got his hands on that. His right, was it? Yeah, right hand, put it right down. Nalbert didn't see him. Yes, it did. Perfect placement. He jumped into that. Nalbert looked over. He did not see him. It was good timing. If you watch Scott, he takes a deep squat jump and closes the angle.
That's exactly what I noticed when we were in London at the first World League event.
Get a quick press and cut off that angle, okay? Stay inside, little boy hasn't hit line yet, okay? Good job. Now Bears hit everything cross court. You know, he hides, comes this way. But we need to be in the opening for defense, and we need to drop your hand on him, okay? He's really looking for solution. The only set that he's at 100% on is the 5 and 3 team. So we got to be aware of that, okay? We might want to start pinching on them, okay? Little guys, just keep your hands high.
I'm going to try and serve Nalbert short on the inside. Is that okay? Tell me. So you
After timeout,
need to switch the block.
Go to one after you can play.
Go to one, the pipe there. Ricardo blocked in the middle, just stop him on the outside. Here we go!
John, help us interpret that.
Okay, Glenn was talking to his blockers about jumping into the angle, which we saw Scott Koski do right before that when he blocked Nalbert straight down. And he's talking about his players pinching in a little bit on defense, coming in a little bit, get your hands in front of you, get a hand on the ball, and to his middle blockers to keep their hands high so they can touch any quick sets that aren't hit a couple feet above the net.
No mistake that time by Nalbert.
After Glenn Hogue, the head coach for Canada, just said he's been hitting nothing but cross court, there's an experienced player coming back, banging the ball down the line.
Just had their ears into the Canadian huddle. Gustavo now with the serve. Brazil looking to tie it up here, but it's just touched over. And it's out by Nalbert. The Canadians up by 2.
He tried to pull that down the line, got a good rip on it, but just pulled it right out. Was that up?
That was on the ground.
Brazilian call, homie call. And that was out. Good call by the refs.
Scott Koski now, the native of Winnipeg, serves it up, and it's not easy for Brazil. And it is blocked down, but on the Canadian side of the net.
That was a good set here on a bad pass, and Andre does a great job of scoring on this. He just outweighted the Canadian block a little bit. He scored on the timing of the block. He hung for a second, waited for the block starting to come back over the net, and used the arm of the outside blocker.
A nice little touch by Brinkman. Canadians barely make something out of that. Another touch by Brinkman as Koski goes back to him. And finally, Brazil capitalizes on the scrambly play on the Canadian side of the net.
And once again, we see a very quick set to the Brazilians on the outside. Nalbert with no approach whatsoever. Ricardo has his tempo down. They connect on that. There's no time to set up defensively or blocking in that situation.
Block straight up and straight over. Discipline. I want it from now on, damn it.
Wow.
Glenn's getting fired up. That's great to see. I love to see that stuff. He's telling him what he wants. They're not playing discipline. They're doing things he doesn't want to see. He made it very clear in no uncertain terms what he expects from his players. Good leadership by Glenn.
We are in set number 3. It's deadlocked at 17. It's a 1-1 tie as the Canadians shock Brazil in set number 2. After getting swept yesterday, the Canadians showing some great signs, even without a couple of key players you would normally expect, Durden or Cassius, in the lineup.
But this is what you have to see. These are all international players. You need guys to step up. We've got guys like Mark Dodds and Nicholas Cundy starting to play international volleyball, and that's what you need. It's a stage for them. There are no excuses. This is what you do, and if you can't do it here on the biggest stage, you shouldn't be there. So show what you got.
Steve Brinkman uses the quick set to the middle and pounds it home. Dan Lewis now. Dug up by Brazil. Ricardo, the back set, and it is hammered down by Nalbert.
It's a good set by Ricardo. Not enough time for the blocker, Freddie Winters, to get to the outside. Uses the line, cranks that down. Nice set by Ricardo. Ricardo made that point by giving a perfect set to his hitter.
Koski with a tricky pass to deal with. The Canadians hammer it, but it's dug up by Brazil. The back row by Nalbert, who's hot right now.
Nalbert's definitely their emotional leader on the court right now. He's taking responsibility for big times in the match, and he calls for this pipe here and just uses, once again, the timing of the block. The block has penetrated, is coming back, now waits just a second and takes a good, clean hit on the ball.
Brazil with a narrow lead in set number 3. Dug up by Wolfenden. Koski quick to the middle for Brinkman, and he hammers it home.
Best connection so far between Brinkman and Koski all day. Nice rhythm. Middle blockers in waiting mode. Brinkman gets a good high pull on that ball, and he likes that. He's loving that moment.
We're deadlocked. 19 apiece. Quick to the middle. Dug up, or at least blocked by Canada. Off the block, and it is out. So Brazil gets to 21st.
Smart hit by Dante on the outside. Broken play. Ricardo covers it. Nalbert sets a nice back set outside to Dante, who just waits for that block a little bit and uses the hands to go right out the back. Smart hit. Very smart hit.
You certainly don't expect a guy who's helping the setter to be back setting like that.
Well, not every player you want to see try that. There's certain players, when they do that, you hold your breath and pray. But now Nalbert's an all-around player. If anybody in the Brazilian side can step in, he can.
Canada off the block, but dug up by Brazil. Ricardo. And it's hammered down on the Brazilians on the Canadian side. And they have a 2-point lead now.
That's a great dig by Nalbert to start that play. The Brazilians are so good at using quick balls in transition because they have the athletes that can do it. Not every team can use a quick ball in transition because they don't have the players that can perform the execution. Brazil is known for having extraordinary athletes.
Next weekend, Brazil will return the favor. They come to Canada at the Hershey Center in Mississauga. And on Sports Weekend, you will have the Saturday match, the second of 2. The first game will be on Friday night. It'll be on Country Canada at 7:30 Eastern. And then on Saturday at 4 o'clock Eastern, CBC Sports Weekend will have game number 2 of that doubleheader from the Hershey Center in Mississauga, Ontario. Here we go with Heller. Brazil up by 2. We're late in set number 3. Canadians battling hard, and a mistake on the Canadian side, and Koski, was that a carry, or was he at the net?
I think I touched the net right there. That's a service receive air. The ball was too tight to the net. Scott went up, caught his forearm on the net.
Brazil now trying to wrap this one up. Leading by 3. Little float serve. Koski took to the middle for Grappentine, and that's on the floor, and Canada is within 2.
Great deep court hit right there. The grapper's up. Koski hits him perfectly. That's an undiggable ball.
And the Brazilians questioning the line call. It's a Greek referee on the stand and a Dutch referee down low. Mark Dodds comes out. Mike Monday comes in.
Let's see how this works. It looks like it may be Monday back to serve. It wasn't a double sub. It was Monday coming in to serve here.
Float serve by Monday, right at the libero. And pounded down by Brazil. They're up by 3.
It was the double sub. Manville came in for Koski, and it didn't pay off there at the net. Dante puts that right down. Be interesting to see if we go back to the lineup or Glenn leaves the double sub in.
Brazil also substituting their young setter, Bruno, who we saw throughout yesterday's match, in which the Brazilians swept Canada 3-0.
And that's Samuel at the net right there, who leads the World League in attacking percentage of almost 60%.
Here's Canada quick to the middle for the grapper, and Murray Grappentine gives Canada a point.
Once again, that's a great rhythm on that set. Murray's up there. It's a perfect ball, about 2 feet above the net. Nice point back. We need a stop here, though, for Canada. Canada needs a stop here. 23-21, getting into crucial crunch time.
Fred Winters with a powerful jump serve. And the Canadians with a chance. Monday with a back set. Pounded by Manville, but it's on the floor on the Canadian side.
Brazil got their hands on that ball. That was a great chance for Canada to get back into this set within 1 point. Set's perhaps a little low. Manville might be a little cold. He just came in. Tried to cut it too close to the net. Too bad.
Not sure if that was blocked, John,
I think it was,
or was it hit the net?
I think it was touched and hit the net.
So Brazil with a chance to clinch it. Hard serve, but dug up by Wolfenden. And Lewis uses the block brilliantly, and Canada hanging on.
Great hit by Dan. Perfect hit to the outside. Used that right arm of the blocker. Samuel's pressing in. Dan waits just a second. Block out. Perfect execution.
Murray Grappentine, a native of Wetaskiwin, Alberta. University of Alberta product. He's played pro ball all over, as well as many of these Canadians have, but this time it's the Brazilian pros who hammer it down. So Brazil hangs on or comes back to win set number 3. They lead 2-1.
And that's Bruno goes right to Gustavo, his money man, to finish off this set. Not surprising at all.
A plucky effort by the Canadians, but in the end, it's the number 1 ranked team in the world. Brazil, 25-22. They're up 2-1. Stay with us for more World League Volleyball. And tomorrow on the full CBC network, it's Major League Soccer at and we're getting set for game number 4 as Canada already extending this match longer than yesterday when the Brazilians took care of the Canadians in 1 hour and 14 minutes. We're already beyond that point.
Yeah, I think, Rob, we would agree that this is the best volleyball we've seen Canada play so far in the World League. They're starting to look like a team that feels comfortable with themselves out there. Perhaps yesterday against Brazil, they might have hit their lowest point of the World League so far, where their execution was very, very disappointing. The nerves showed a lot, and they probably feel like, you know what, we've got nothing to lose. Let's play volleyball like we know how to play volleyball. Having a little bit of incentive from your head coach like Glenn Hogue, telling you what he expects from you doesn't hurt.
Well, and you called it, John. We sat down before we even put the microphones on. You said, I have a good feeling about this. Canada is going to be much better today.
Well, what you expect from athletes at a certain level is a reaction. They got beaten down yesterday, and every athlete has pride. These are Canada's top volleyball athletes. They know they're on TV. They know they have to show what they're worth. We are seeing a reaction today, and that's what I like. In adversity, show a reaction. Do something. And Dan Lewis, who we saw right there, is stepping up. Dan Lewis, I'll repeat, is crucial to the Canadian team, and he is showing his worth out there today.
Canada will begin game number 4 with service. That's the libero Allen in the green, Gustavo in front of him, the big middle blocker. And Scott Koski will begin with service for Canada. And Brazil right away goes to Nalbert. Why not? He was hot in game 3, and he gives the Brazilians a point.
Quick hit once again. Nalbert cuts that right cross court by Brinkman's left arm. No defensive player there. The ball's down and should be down.
Now it's Gustavo. Wolfenden digs it up. Koski with the set. Pounded down by Dodds.
Dodds really